Total Screen proudly presents their official podcast, On Screen, with your hosts, Tyson Gifford and William Rohrig. Hello, everybody, and welcome to On Screen, the official podcast of the Total Screen. My name is Tyson.
My name is Will.
And today we are going to be talking about news. Lots of news, most specifically centered around Comic-Con 2026. That's San Diego International Comic-Con 2026. That's kind of the main source of our news, and because Comic-Con's such a big deal, we decided not to do like a full spoiler segment where we talk about some other thing, because we just got a lot to cover from Comic-Con. So we're going to start things off with our On the Horizon segment. On the Horizon is where we talk about what's coming up in the next week or so, and we're going to start with Futurama, which returns on Hulu on Monday, August 3rd. Beast of Reincarnation hits on Tuesday, August 4th for PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X. Big Walk comes on Tuesday, August 4th on PC, PS5, and Switch 2. The Shards, this is based on a book by Bret Easton Ellis, who wrote American Psycho, and is being produced by Ryan Murphy of like American Horror Story. Set in 1980s, privileged murder teens, that kind of stuff. Wednesday, August 5th on FX and Hulu. Star Wars Visions presents The Ninth Jedi, which is a limited series, animated series, comes on Wednesday, August 5th to Disney Plus and Hulu. Ted Lasso returns on Wednesday, August 5th to Apple TV. Marvel Tōkon Fighting Souls comes on Thursday, August 6th to PC and PS5. Alley Cats, this is the animated Ricky Gervais comedy, comes on Friday, August 7th to Netflix. The Last House, which is a movie that stars Wagner Moura and Greta Lee, and they're trapped in a house, and they're running out of resources, and they can't get out of their house, and they can see their neighbors across the street and hold up signs to communicate with each other, but nobody can leave their homes. There's some supernatural phenomenon happening. That is coming on Wednesday, August 7th to Netflix. One Night Only, which is kind of like The Purge, but for sex. For some reason, people can only have sex one night a year, and so everybody goes crazy trying to like get a hookup that day. That's coming to theaters on Friday, August 7th. As is Ice Cream Man, the Eli Roth horror movie, and Super Troopers 3 as well, coming to theaters on Friday, August 7th. That is our On the Horizon segment, and now we're going to move on to our final segment, our biggest segment, On Beat. On Beat. On Beat is our news segment. We've got lots of Comic-Con stuff to go over, but we got some other stuff to go over as well, and that's where we're going to start. Mike Flanagan is in talks to produce, run, and direct Henry Cavill's Warhammer 40K series at Amazon MGM. So this is like something that feels like it should have been a Comic-Con news story, but it isn't.
Right. Yeah, I guess like they're still like trying to get this made. Henry Cavill is really banging the drum for this. Getting Mike Flanagan on board is like a huge get, so congrats for him. Mm-hmm. Henry Cavill managing to convince Mike Flanagan to come on board for this. So that's a pretty big deal. I guess it's just the ball's in like Amazon's court, whether they greenlight it or not now.
They already have like, I think, a contract in place. So it's a matter of if the actual individual series, like I think there's penalties attached. So if they don't greenlight it, they'll have to pay penalties. So it's almost the same thing.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, it hasn't been greenlit yet. So there's movement on it, is what you can say.
It's still very early, too, because, like, if Mike Flanagan is in talks, and his role that he's in talks for is to produce, run, and direct it, then this is, like, years away.
Right. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's not coming out next month.
And then we've got some non-Comic-Con trailers. We've got two we're going over. First, we have Onslaught. This basically looks like Universal Soldier.
Mm-hmm. No, this looks really fun. I don't know about Universal Soldier, but this is Adam Wingard. This is like a horror/action. It's basically like an action slasher, because the concept is you got these three almost invincible soldiers going around killing people up, and Adria Arjona is the soldier/mother who has to stand up against them.
Yeah.
And that's like the basic premise.
And you got like a very mad scientist character, basically like a Victor Frankenstein type character.
Yeah, played by Dan Stevens.
Yeah.
Who's behind like these soldiers, yeah.
Yeah, like I said,
looks like a
Universal Soldier.
Yeah.
It's like a more polished, less like campy version of Universal Soldier.
Yeah.
Then we got a trailer for It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. This is season 18.
Crazy.
So It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia can now vote.
Yeah, it can now vote. Congratulations. Looks good. I mean, it's weird. It's 18 seasons in, and from the clips they showed in this trailer, they haven't skipped a beat. Still comes off as fresh and funny as ever, which is quite the achievement.
Mm-hmm. That brings an end to our non-Comic-Con coverage, and now we're moving on to our Comic-Con stuff. So we've got some news stories to go over and then a bunch of trailers to talk about. Well, not too many. We got 6 trailers to talk about. But we're going to start things off with Atari has signed a 10-picture deal, a potentially 10-picture deal with Universal. This is for the games that include Asteroids, Adventure, Berserk, Breakout, Centipede, Crystal Castles, Millipede, Missile Command, Pong, and Yar's Revenge. Those are the games in question that they can adapt. And yeah, this was announced at Comic-Con. This is just like an example of people that saw the success of the Barbie movie and just completely didn't get it.
Yeah, this is just people who see the success, and also like the success of things like the Super Mario movie and the Minecraft movie and stuff. And like the thinking is, oh, video games are big. We gotta like sign every video game property that comes our way into films because that's money.
It's
this
funny
is like how film executive brains work. It's like, oh, video games are money. They don't know what these properties are. They have no fucking clue. They just know they're video games.
It's funny because this was essentially a plot point in the very first episode of The Studio, which is that like Seth Rogen becomes a Hollywood producer and slowly starts losing his soul as he has to compromise all his like vision.
Yeah.
And that there was basically a plot point where they acquired the rights to some toy brand or something. Oh no, it was Kool-Aid, I think it was.
Oh, that's right. I saw the clips where they're like going over ideas for like the freaking Kool-Aid movie, and it was so ridiculous.
Yeah, and then they ended up contracting Martin Scorsese because he wanted to do like, because Seth Rogen is trying to like keep his soul basically in all like the big business dealings of the studio, and so he sees an opportunity to make a Martin Scorsese movie because Martin Scorsese wants to make something about the Georgetown massacre, where they drank the Kool-Aid and stuff, and because Martin Scorsese's like pitching him the idea of it, and then he says, yeah, let's do it. And he's all, but we have to use the title Kool-Aid, and he's going to use a product tie-in as the Kool-Aid movie. And then it like all falls apart, and he ends up having to like fire Scorsese, and it was Scorsese's last dream project he wanted to make, and he was like made him cry and stuff. It was really darkly funny. Yeah, but that was like literally a plot point of the studio, and here's somebody just falling into the same fucking trap.
Yeah, like whatever producer signed this freaking deal. Because here's the thing. When we look at the successful video game-based movies, they're based on IP people actually give a shit about.
Current IP, yeah.
Yeah, current IP. Mario and Minecraft are like super relevant to young kids. Those are like easy home runs because the kids are already like obsessed with those properties. So all you have to do is put out a halfway decent movie and you're good. Sonic the Hedgehog was also big. Five Nights at Freddy's was a big one.
All those are fairly current franchises.
Yeah, and all those are like popular with like young, like Gen Z kids.
It's like Super Mario's old, but Mario's like massive and has not ever lost popularity, you know?
No, it's an old franchise, but Nintendo keeps it fresh and keeps it current. Yeah. And has maintained the popularity of Mario across generations. That's Nintendo's real skill, is really nurturing their franchises in a way few other companies manage to do. But yeah, so those are the big successes. Stuff that is relevant to the kids. What kid gives two shits about Asteroids or
Breakout
or Breakout or Pong or fucking Yar's Revenge? What kid knows Yar's Revenge?
Yeah.
Seriously, who does Universal think is going to turn out for this?
A bunch of like 50-year-olds,
yeah, a bunch of 50-year-old like Gen Xers, boomers. Like, I don't think that's the target audience you want.
And not even a bunch, just like a very small group.
I don't think that's the target audience you want for your films.
It's basically comic book guy from The Simpsons.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. I watch retro game YouTube and stuff, and the only people I see talking about Atari games or games like pre-NES are really old dudes. People who are older than me.
Yeah. Atari was around when I was a kid, but I have no nostalgia for Atari stuff.
I had an Atari, I had a hand-me-down Atari when I was 8, and it was fine, but I had a whole box of games. They didn't really grab me in any significant way.
Yeah, same here. I recall them. I played it a little bit and stuff, but that's about it. I have no nostalgia for it at all.
Yeah, same. It's okay, that was the thing. I didn't really start getting into video games until I got my copy of Super Mario Brothers. That was okay, this is actually engaging.
And it's not like we've gotten Yar's Revenge remastered as a Souls-like,
No, these are just some IPs that Atari owns. And good for Atari for this. Good for Atari for getting that money, getting that bag. They're not the idiots here.
No, Universal's the idiots.
Universal's the idiots because they're not going to make blockbusters out of these IPs. It's just not happening.
Well, Universal hasn't exactly shown themselves to be brilliant as of late.
Right.
With the success of the MCU, they could come to a deal with Marvel in the same way that Sony did with Spider-Man and have a successful Hulk franchise, and instead they're just squatting on the franchise in spite.
Yeah.
And doing nothing with it. And it's so fucking stupid. It's you have a potential multi-million-dollar franchise and you're just sitting on it.
Yeah, you're just sitting on money for no reason.
Yeah, it's so stupid. But that's what Universal's been like recently.
Exactly. They've been kind of shit. But yeah, that was the most absurd news to come out of Comic-Con. Yeah. I just thought, okay, we're just buying the rights to any IP now.
Yeah, it's back to that South Park parody of Netflix where people would call Netflix and they'd say, "Thanks for calling Netflix, you're greenlit."
Yeah, back when Netflix would make a show about anything.
Yeah, this is basically that mentality.
That era of Netflix is over, but yeah.
Now it's, "Thank you for calling Netflix, we're sorry, but you've been canceled."
Yeah, exactly.
Now we're going to move on to our final story from Comic-Con outside of the trailers. We got trailers to go over as well, but we of course have to talk about the Marvel panel.
But
there were some trailers and stuff showing there too, but we weren't able to see any of them. Kevin
Feige did say there'd be surprises.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we can't watch the trailers. It's forbidden.
Yeah, it's
we have to go off of secondhand descriptions
or complete some crazy archaic blood ritual spell and I mean, I didn't want to kill 17 virgins.
Yeah, no, that
wasn't worth it.
It's too time consuming.
Yeah, I mean that's why I don't have any moral for them.
Yeah.
So we got some big stuff out of the MCU panel. First off, Ghost Rider.
Yeah, they announced a Ghost Rider film starring Ryan Gosling. That was the big surprise for Hall H. They're making it with Sean Levy. I know people are not excited about that because Sean Levy he's one of those this is the job directors. He's not a vision director.
Well, people, I think when they think about him, they primarily think he did Deadpool and Wolverine, which was funny and stuff, but that doesn't fit. That doesn't fit Ghost Rider. And then they think okay, well, what else has he done? And they think he did that Adam Project movie, and he did
Free Guy.
Yeah.
He did,
But here's one thing to consider. I think a lot of people forget. He was also one of the main directors on Stranger Things.
I did not know that, actually.
Yeah, he's one of the main directors. He was involved in original creation of the series and one of the main directors throughout the series run.
Oh, okay. Huh.
It was the Duffer Brothers were the primary, and then it was him after them.
I know people wanted more of a horror movie director for this. Mm-hmm. We'll have to see. The thing about Sean Levy is, from what I heard, he delivers on budget and on time, and he doesn't argue with studio notes, and the actors like him.
He's a good boy.
Yes. Yeah, he is a good boy. Yeah, exactly. He is a company man, and I think people don't like that so much.
So who would you have liked? Who would you have liked for Ghost Rider?
Sam Raimi.
Sam Raimi would have been good.
Sam Raimi would have been good. Let's see.
I love Sam Raimi. You know who else would have been? It's Chad Stahelski.
Chad Stahelski would have been interesting, yes.
Yeah. At the very least, we would have known what we were getting, action-wise from it,
Oh, yeah. Because it's got to be somebody who can, do mix of horror and action.
Mm-hmm.
Unless we're just not going to lean into the horror elements too much.
Robert Eggers?
No.
Robert Eggers would never do it.
No, he would never do that.
He's made comments about the idea of filming a car or a cell phone would make him throw up or something.
I don't know what Robert Eggers has against like present day or modern times.
You know what? He could do it. Robert Eggers could do it, but it would have to be like the cowboy version.
It would have to be the Western Ghost Rider. Yeah.
There's a lot of good directors that would have been good picks. I'm like, Sean Levy doesn't inspire frustration from me, but it also doesn't inspire like awe in any way.
Right.
It's just kind of like, okay, well, let's see what this is, you know?
And apparently, like, he's doing Star Wars Starfighter with Ryan Gosling. So, like, Ryan Gosling just recently worked with him, so I'm probably guessing based off of that relationship that's part of the reason he got the Ghost Rider gig.
Maybe he took things in a more interesting direction on Starfighter, you know? Like, Feige said that he saw Starfighter and it was really good, so...
Yeah, Feige likes Starfighter. Ryan Gosling probably recommended him, too, based on, like, he had just worked with him, so Ryan Gosling, like, clearly likes him.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, Marvel worked with him just before with Deadpool Wolverine. How about Ryan Gosling? I think he is a pretty good pick.
I think
he's not like one of those inspired picks, like one of the ones you'd never.
I was about to say he's an inspired choice.
I think inspired picks are like the kind that you would never think of. Like, for example, I don't think Robert Downey Jr. was an inspired pick for Iron Man because he was like an obvious pick.
Was he obvious back in 2008?
Yeah, because they started making Iron Man more and more like going into his problems with like alcohol and drugs and stuff. They started kind of leaning into that in the comics, and that was basically who Robert Downey Jr. was in real life at the time.
Right, yeah.
As somebody going through that struggle. And like they did with Samuel Jackson, they started making Nick Fury in the comics before Sam Jackson was cast. They literally based it on Samuel Jackson.
Oh, yeah.
And they started doing kind of something similar with Robert Downey Jr. with Iron Man, too, where they started making Tony Stark kind of look like Robert Downey Jr., so...
Yeah, when they created the Ultimate Universe, Mark Millar made Ultimate Nick Fury look like Samuel Jackson just for, like, the lulls.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, yeah.
So I wouldn't say, like, somebody like that is... Or another example is, like, Patrick Stewart. He's not an inspired pick. He's, like, the obvious pick. And that's not a bad thing. They're obvious for a reason. Like, they're kind of
Patrick Stewart was, like, a popular fan cast. Before anybody announced an X-Men movie was being made, Patrick Stewart was a popular fan cast for a hypothetical Professor X in a movie.
I'll give you an example of like a more inspired casting that Marvel's done. Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards.
Yeah, like I did not see
not
that
expected at all, and it worked.
Yeah, it worked fantastically.
Another would be
unintended.
Robert Downey Jr. as Doom, potentially, you know, depending on how that turns out.
Potentially, yeah. Nobody saw that coming.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, it's not something you'd think of, but it could potentially be amazing. That's kind of the thing I feel with...
I'm happy for Ryan Gosling.
I like Ryan Gosling a lot. Like, I really have enjoyed, especially like the recent turn in his career. Project Hail Mary was amazing. I really liked The Fall Guy. He's been hitting with me recently.
I'm assuming Ryan Gosling's going to be playing Johnny Blaze, which is interesting. Almost surely. Which is interesting because, like, Marvel as a whole hasn't done really a whole lot much with Johnny Blaze, like, recently. Like, all the outside comics media typically shows, like,
Robbie Reyes?
Robbie Reyes, yeah. I almost said Jamie
I
Reyes.
really hope they don't have Ryan Gosling play Robbie Reyes.
Yeah, like, it's either, like, Robbie Reyes or one of the other Ghost
Is he going to put on, like, a fake Hispanic accent or something?
Oh,
like,
God,
just to make it ultra offensive?
That'd be like a slap in the face to Gabriel Luna, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I really hope they don't do something like that. I wouldn't mind if they brought back Gabriel Luna to do Robbie Reyes, but, like, as a different version of that character.
Right, yeah. But it's been the other Ghost Rider variants, the comics and the other media for a while now. So it's been a long time since Marvel revisited Johnny Blaze. So that's like another interesting thing.
Yeah, it'll be exciting to see Ghost Rider and how he fits into the MCU. A lot of people have also pointed out that this might be how they salvage Blade.
Yeah,
like, they couldn't get a Blade movie working, but you could totally put Blade in a
I low-key thought like they were going to announce a Midnight Suns movie that was going to have Ghost Rider, Blade, Doctor Strange, and maybe like
Wolverine or something.
Wolverine.
Hugh Jackman. I don't know, man. Like, I think...
Moon Knight.
I think we could still potentially get that. Like,
it would be Doctor Strange, Blade, Ghost Rider, and Moon Knight.
Well, you know who they could also put in is the guy from Eternals, Kit Harington's character.
Yeah, they could. I think Kevin Feige wants to forget that movie happened.
True. But man, yeah, I'm up on the Ghost Rider thing. The Sean Levy thing it doesn't turn me off, but it doesn't turn me on either. It's
right, yeah, exactly. It doesn't get me hyped, but it's not like, oh yeah, this is going to be a bad movie. I still think it's going to be a fine movie.
But Ryan Gosling definitely excites me.
Yes, yeah, Ryan Gosling definitely excites me. I really like Ryan Gosling. So I'm looking forward to this. This is going to be cool.
Mm-hmm. We got another huge movie announcement and big casting news as well, and that's for Black Panther 3.
Yeah, they're making a third one. Not a surprise.
Guess who's directing this one?
Oh, my word.
It's the director of Sinners. They got the director of Sinners. Can you believe it?
Crazy. I can't believe they pulled the director of Sinners for this.
I know, that's crazy. Amazing. Who would have thought that he'd have any interest in Black Panther? Well, Ryan Coogler is returning to direct, but the interesting thing is that they cast T'Challa's son.
Yeah, T'Challa is returning.
At the very end of the last movie. And the actor who played T'Challa, Chadwick Boseman, very sadly passed away. They had to restructure the entire second Black Panther movie to kind of deal with that. And I think they did a pretty good job, actually, of dealing with the weight of that.
Yes.
And then they introduced that he had this character that was supposed to be his son, his secret son that nobody really knew about. But he's fucking 8 at the end of that movie. Yeah, and they cast a 30-year-old.
He's going to be significantly aged up for Black Panther 3. But we have a new Black Panther now.
David Johnson, who was most recently in The Long Walk.
He was, yeah.
I don't have too terribly much experience with him. I've seen him in trailers and stuff. I don't think I've seen any movie with him in it.
Yeah, I haven't seen him, so I'm not familiar with him as an actor, but yeah, congrats.
Yeah, I mean, he looks like he's into it. He looks like he's humble. I'm interested to see what he's going to do with it. We also know from before, and this was a leak, where Denzel Washington had done an interview and mentioned that he was going to be in Black Panther 3 before Black Panther 3 was ever announced. So we know something's going to happen with Denzel Washington, apparently, unless that's changed, as one of Denzel's last movies. So he's going to be somehow involved in that as well, apparently. But yeah, Black Panther 3. I just want to know how he ages up, what they're doing with that.
They use an aging ray on him. They're like, okay, T'Challa's son, we need you to fight Doom. And he's like, I'm 8 years old. And then they're like, not after we use Shuri's brand new age increasing ray. And they shoot him. Yeah.
They use it on him, and then all of a sudden it's Simu Liu.
Yeah.
And they're like, what the fuck? You were supposed to age up. Why is he Asian? And he said, oh, you said aging. Oh, shit.
Yeah. So that's how it will happen.
Yeah, we're ready to be hired, Marvel. We're
here.
We like these brilliant ideas. But that was it for Black Panther. And then, of course, the main focus of this entire Hall H presentation was Doomsday. They had a bunch of the cast on stage. One thing we got to learn for sure is that Haley Atwell is going to be returning. Makes sense, because Steve Rogers is returning. So
yeah,
why wouldn't Haley Atwell be returning in some way, shape, or form? But the fact that she's on stage implies that it's more than just a 3-second, go get him, Steve, cameo, you know?
That's literally her only line in the movie. Go get him, Steve.
I think there's actually significantly more cameos happening in that movie than we know about, because there's been a lot of rumors for a while. So
oh, definitely, 100%. They're keeping stuff under the vest.
I love Haley Atwell, so it'll be fun to see her back. I really hope it isn't just some short ass cameo.
I hope not. I think she will show up as Agent Carter again,
or the Captain Carter.
Captain Carter, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Either way, it'd be good. I think. If it was Steve's Carter that shows up, I'd be fine with that if she's taking on a role, because she was already an agent, you know, it's not like she was some civilian. So she could contribute in interesting ways there. As Captain Carter, that would be interesting as well. All of that would be cool to see. We got another potential casting announced for this. They're not really announced, but like I said, potential. We had a little surprise appearance during the panel. Ryan Reynolds just showed up in the audience dressed as Deadpool in a new costume, which he referred to as his Jeans Grey costume.
Yeah. I don't know if this means anything other than, he did, a fun stunt for Comic-Con, Robert Downey Jr. called him out. It was a fun moment for the crowd. Doesn't mean Deadpool is going to be in Avengers Doomsday or anything.
Well, we know it's not. That costume isn't going to have anything to do with the next Deadpool movie or at least not yet, because he already talked about that a new Deadpool movie is going to happen, but it's in, the earliest of early stages. So they wouldn't have anything made for that yet.
It had nothing to do with anything. except for being for like this Comic-Con.
See, I still find that kind of hard to believe. That stuff's expensive to make.
Yeah, but Ryan Reynolds has the money to burn. And again, it's marketing. It's marketing for the brand. It's just a fun stunt that they did at the panel to like delight the fans.
It could be.
I don't think I don't think it's anything deeper than that.
It could be. You don't think he's going to be in Doomsday then?
No, I don't think he's going to be in Doomsday.
I think he might be in Doomsday. I think he might have a very small role in Doomsday. I think what they would do is they would play him more straight though, because, that's the thing is that Doomsday can appear in like a non-Doomsday comic and not necessarily be like the Doomsday you'd expect from that comic.
Right. They would play him more straight because there's already a gay character in Doomsday. So you're forgetting about gay Joe Russo.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Gay Russo is in this one, so...
Yes.
He's going to talk to a support group about going on a date.
Gay Joe Russo, I need you to distract Doom.
He walks up to Doom and talks about his loss, and Doom, just starts crying behind his mask.
Yeah.
Puts his hand on his shoulder, he's like, I'm there for you, bro. Yeah. Can't forget Marvel's greatest LGBTQ moment.
Right, yeah, exactly. Yeah. The greatest LGBTQ hero in the Marvel Universe.
Yes. But that's it for the MCU panel, and now we're going to move on to Comic-Con trailers. We've got 6 to go over, and we're going to start on a kind of similar vein. We're talking about Marvel, so it makes sense to talk about DC. DC didn't have like a big panel, like a big overall panel, but they did have a panel for Lanterns, and they showed, which I believe is our first full trailer, right? Like everything we've gotten before was a teaser, right?
I think like the last trailer was a full trailer, but it did show like a lot of the fantastical elements.
Well, this was a 3-minute trailer.
this one shows more of the Green Lantern stuff than the other trailers have so far. The other trailers really much framed it from the direction of like a realistic True Detective type thing with some fantastic, like this goes all in. This trailer is like all in on like the Lanterns, like lore and stuff that is in the show.
Sinestro shows up.
And honestly, it's like, well, I'm in now. I was going to watch it, like, before, obviously. But, like, now I'm sold on the show. I watched this trailer, I was thinking, you should have just led with that.
They led with Damon Lindelof, and that sold me.
Yeah. That doesn't instantly sell me, because he can be, like, very uneven.
It sells me. Like, I'm at least interested whenever he's involved.
Yes. This looked good. Yeah, we saw Sinestro in a scene talking
They referenced
to Hal.
the Manhunters?
Well, they did more than just reference them. They outright stated that's the main villain for the series, for like season 1 at least.
Well, they didn't say it was the main villain. Like, it seems like somebody might be controlling them or something.
Yeah.
Might be Sinestro.
Well, I don't know. Yeah. It's interesting because they said like it involves Manhunters. And that's significant. If you know Green Lantern lore, the whole thing with the Manhunters is the Manhunters were basically the Green Lantern Corps before the Green Lantern Corps. The Guardians of the Universe originally created the Manhunters to police the galaxy, and the Manhunters are actually like androids. They're robots. And what happened with the Manhunters is they became so overzealous in their mission that they just indiscriminately killed everybody on a single planet just going after one guy.
Mm-hmm.
They destroyed a planet just to get one guy, and so the Guardians decommissioned them, and then the Guardians created the Green Lantern Corps to replace them.
So tell me, DC has Manhunters, and they have Martian Manhunters.
No relation. Absolutely no relation.
No relation at all.
Whatsoever.
Okay.
I knew you were going to bring that up. No relation.
They're also going to bring in Bateman.
Yeah.
It's Jason Bateman from those commercials.
Yeah, for Jason. Yeah, exactly. No relation to Batman.
Yeah. So that was Lanterns. Looks good. I really like what they're doing with the relationship between Hal and John.
Yes, it's really cool. We got to see
really contentious, but like in a fun way. Like they're really playing Hal as like this cantankerous old man kind of, you know?
Right. Oh yeah. And also we saw like Guy Gardner in a shot. I believe Damon Lindelof confirmed at the panel that you will see the origin of how Guy Gardner got his ring in Lanterns.
Yeah, it'll be like how Nick Fury got his scar.
Yeah.
It'll be like,
it'll be exactly
he picked up
like
some
how
cat, it scratched him, and then the cat dropped the ring, and he went, oh, what's this?
It'll be exactly how, like, Jack got his tattoo.
And lost, yeah. Oh, man. Lanterns looks good. 3-minute trailer. Exciting. Lots of, like, cool shots. Lots of green and red lights and all sorts of stuff. So, there you go. The fantasy is in it.
I hope it's successful. I hope they can make more multiple seasons, because, like, Green Lantern has such a rich mythology to mine. Mm-hmm. There's, like, a lot of stuff you could do.
Mm-hmm.
they're probably not even going to touch upon the other Lantern Corps besides like yellow for Sinestro, obviously.
Well, there was like red beams of light in the trailer, so.
Oh, yeah. And it's interesting too, because that makes sense if the Red Lanterns show up, because the Red Lanterns actually follow the Manhunters.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting.
So, from one James Gunn joint to another, Coyote versus Acme.
Yeah.
Finally getting it.
This is happening. And, like, watching this trailer, I was like...
Thank you, Catch Up Entertainment.
Yeah, they can catch up. This is amazing. Why would you cancel this for a tax write-off and deny the world John Cena being mean to Tweety Bird?
We just need more good live-action 2D animated crossover stuff.
Yes.
I still want another Roger Rabbit, goddammit.
Same. The fact Disney never made a sequel to that is wild.
Yeah.
How successful was that movie for Disney, and then they just never followed up on it? Yeah, I can't believe that. But, like...
Yeah. I want something of that scale, though. Space Jam never did it. That wasn't it. This isn't that either.
This is sticking purely to the Looney Tunes. This is like smaller scale, smaller focus, which it should be. You know, it shouldn't be like...
Yeah, exactly.
A cameo fest.
But it looks really good. It looks like they nailed the humor, and it looks like they did like a really cool way of bringing back people that liked Looney Tunes as kids, but like are now as adults. And the idea of Looney Tunes involved in the court system kind of tickles them, you know?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
I think that's a good idea. I'm so glad this got picked up again and that we're actually going to get this finally. And yeah, John Cena is inspired casting on this one.
Acme, like
the
being
CEO
like
of Acme,
yeah, Acme being like an evil corporation that knowingly like sells people faulty products is eerily relevant for today.
Yeah, I pay you for what you tea, not what you.
Yeah.
What did you tea? What did you ta?
Yeah, what did you tea? What did you... Amazing.
Yeah.
Give him all the flowers. Like, I want to see this movie.
Yeah, that and can't even think of his name right now for some reason. His lawyer, Coyote's lawyer.
Oh yeah, Will Forte.
That and Will Forte. Will Forte
is so good.
He always kills it, and I'm particularly interested in him as this kind of lawyer character. Very fitting to his sensibilities. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, I'm super psyched for this. I was so pissed when this got canceled as a tax write-off, and now we're getting it finally. So
same, yeah. Even though I didn't have a lot of context for it, I just thought the concept, the premise sounded hilarious. And for what we knew beforehand, it had Will Forte involved. I don't think we knew John Cena was involved.
I don't remember hearing he was involved until we saw the first teaser for it.
Yeah, the first real teaser for it. But pre-teaser, back when it was a dead movie, we only saw the screenshots with Will Forte and stuff. And we only had a premise. I was kind of this could... It was a shame because it's not like I knew it was going to be a great movie. But I read that premise. I was like, you know what? This could really kill if they did it right. It's a shame that they're canceling it.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks yeah.
It's finally coming and it looks great. Another great trailer for it. So next we got another trailer for Resident Evil. This is our second trailer for it. Man, the sound design on this is really good. What they did with the knocking, where you heard the knocking before you see him knocking on the door. And then throughout the trailer, you hear knocking. And then the knocking fades into the footsteps of the zombie running through the snow. And just all the different ways they were using the sound design to link the trailer together. On my second watch of the trailer, I was kind of impressed by that aspect. But in general, yeah, I'm going to stick by my original assessment of this entire movie, and that is that
Austin Abrams,
Resident Evil fans do not deserve Zach Krager.
Okay, I knew you were going to say that. Let's not be combative on the podcast, okay?
I'm loading my shotgun.
Austin Abrams is fantastic in this trailer as the everyman who doesn't know the situation he's getting into.
You start to see why Zach Krager ended up picking him after working with him on Weapons.
Yes, because he's got this real charming quality to him that even watching this trailer, you instantly like him and you're rooting for him.
Mm-hmm.
And that's incredible to do within the confines of a movie trailer. That's good character work right there. And apparently this movie has Paul Walter Hauser in it. Paul Walter Hauser is showing up in everything.
That was probably the coolest thing in this trailer. I didn't know he was involved in this.
I didn't know either until he showed up in the trailer. I'm looking at the cast now. Apparently Zach Cherry is going to be in this.
Oh wow, they're bringing in all the character actors.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, Zach Krager is calling up all the character actors. He's like, I know everybody. It looks fun. There is the Resident Evilness to it, too. There is the Resident Evilness.
I saw Typewriter.
I saw Typewriter, yes. The whole thing of him picking up the shotgun and then finding the shells is like very Resident Evil. Like just the way, like not like the way, like, oh, he finds a shotgun. Like, yeah, any movie can do that, but like the specific way it's presented is Resident Evil-esque. It's like picking up the shotgun in the game.
Yeah, I also think this is the right way to do it. Like, I agree with Zach Krieger entirely that it would not have worked if he tried to fucking tell, like, Leon Kennedy's story as a movie. Like, it would just would have, there would have been, like, a severe disconnect. And so I really like that he's taking a completely unique approach, but that he's, like, sticking to the tropes and the kind of iconography of the series instead.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny too because I saw like people like, well, the Resident Evil is this Claire, Leon, and Chris's story.
So, well, Leon wasn't in the first Resident Evil, so
yeah, Leon,
you see him, and that means that Resident Evil 2 is bullshit because where's Chris?
Chris is gone. But more than that, okay, then why is Resident Evil 7 focused on a completely new character?
Or Resident Evil
Winters.
0, or, yeah.
Yeah, Ethan Winters, yeah. It's kind of like a dumb argument. These games just introduce new characters and follow characters at their leisure. It makes sense to do a new story. Like, I think if you're gonna have it set during the Raccoon City incident, telling it from, like, the perspective of somebody new makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It works for me.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to do this kind of movie. I think, like, if you tried to just straightforward do a Resident Evil movie with those characters, like, I just don't think it works. And I think the evidence to that is the previous Resident Evil movies.
Right,
and
yeah.
I think what really works is the idea of, like, going, okay, well, you have this setting, you have these things that occur, you have this umbrella corporation, you have those aspects, and you can just kind of play on those for, like, an original concept. And I also like the fact that they're kind of just doing this movie as, like, this over-the-shoulder experience as he's, like, running through the city and getting by, and it's just following him from beginning to end. I think that's a clever structure for this kind of movie, and I think it's gonna be the best possible thing you could do for this franchise.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is going to be like a really fun horror movie. And that's the thing. This is going to be capital H horror. The Paul Thomas Anderson movies were just like goofy action films with monsters.
Yeah.
So this is going to be the first Resident Evil movie that's actually a pure horror film.
Yeah.
And I welcome that with open arms.
Definitely. Let's move on to some cyberpunk stories.
Okay,
we got two big, massive cyberpunk trailers that dropped. Not cyberpunk as in the franchise cyberpunk, but as in the genre. And we're going to start things off with Blade Runner 2099.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, they both involve classics of the genre.
Yeah, absolute classic. Huge classics, yeah.
Yeah, huge classics, yeah. They said Blade Runner 2099. This is apparently going to be a limited series, so it's not going to be an ongoing, but this is a continuation of the Blade Runner saga starring Hunter Schafer.
Yep, and
Michelle Yeoh.
Michelle Yeoh, that's it.
That's who yeah, okay. It looks like Hunter Schafer and Michelle Yeoh are the primary characters in this series.
At the end of Blade Runner 2049, they talked about like a looming war that was just starting between replicants and humans.
Yeah.
And 2099 is like post that war, and the replicants won.
Yeah, so humans are like on the back foot.
And Hunter plays a character who's human, but who kind of pretends to be a replicant at times, I guess. And right. Michelle Yeoh's character is a replicant who hunts rogue replicants.
Right, yeah.
And somehow their paths cross, and yeah. It looks interesting, looks beautiful, like the visuals, the visual language
visually
of it is very pretty.
Stunning, looks gorgeous.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Definitely has like that top tier like cyberpunk aesthetic. There's just like bright colors and the reds and it's like bright but grungy, and that's kind of like the cyberpunk aesthetic, you know?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, Blade Runner 2099 looks great. But we got another cyberpunk one here. Neuromancer, based on the book by William Gibson. The book's basically considered like the godfather of the entire genre. And it's being adapted for Apple TV, who have been killing it with almost everything they've been doing. So that gives me great confidence in this.
Oh yeah, like absolutely. I have full confidence in this.
Yeah. I think this might end up being the better of the two.
Probably.
But Blade Runner was the more interesting visually, like trailer-wise.
Yeah, Blade Runner is like much more visually interesting than this, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. But Neuromancer might be the more deep story. But yeah, it's about basically what would be called a netrunner who's quarrying information, kind of like Johnny Mnemonic. And that's the story of Neuromancer. I know a lot of people are excited. Neuromancer is one of the impossible stories. It's one of those ones that has long been referred to as something that is unfilmable. We kind of hit a point, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago, in which like the idea of impossible stories kind of has gone the way of the dodo.
Mm-hmm.
Like everything's possible now. And now we've got Neuromancer coming. So it'll be an interesting test to see about that. But like I said, Apple TV is not missing. And I say that as somebody who is not a fan of the company at all. They are not missing when it comes to their TV programming. So I have faith in that alone that this is going to be like a killer series. But the trailer itself looked decent. I mean, it didn't like visually blow me away or anything, but it looked like a solid story.
Right. Oh yeah, absolutely.
We're going to move on to the final trailer from Comic-Con that we're going to talk about. And this was for Matchbox the movie. Now, earlier we talked about this Atari deal with Universal and how it's just everything's IP. Just take any IP you can and make something out of it. Here we go.
Was Matchbox Mattel?
I believe so. I think I saw the Mattel logo.
Yep. Okay, yeah, it is owned by Mattel. They're on Mattel's website. So yes, this movie was sold as part of the rush. Mattel just selling its properties to Hollywood in the wake of Barbie's success, because like Barbie is Mattel's biggest brand. So everything Mattel is being made now. The Masters of the Universe movie finally got made after being in development hell forever. That just came out and bombed spectacularly, but apparently it doesn't matter because Amazon funded it and they mostly care about streaming anyway. But yeah, that came out, that bombed, and now we got Matchbox.
As cynical as I can be about how ridiculous it is that this even has anything to do with Matchbox and about just how stupid it would be to try to make a Matchbox movie in the first place, one thing I can say that's a clear positive is that it just looks like a fun action movie. Like, it doesn't look like a great action movie. It just looks like a fun action movie.
It looks like a fun movie, and like, this isn't even a theatrical release. This is direct to streaming. This is direct to Apple TV.
Mm-hmm.
So this isn't a big theatrical push. I'm sure it's going to,
Although on this one, I'm not expecting the depth that I would expect from the Apple TV shows. This is a movie coming to Apple TV, and those don't tend to be as good as the shows.
I was going to say, like, it'd be successful, but then I'm like, I actually don't know. It's on Apple TV. I don't know if the audience is there for that, but we'll see. But yeah, this is like a fun, light-hearted action movie. This is basically the Fast and the Furious. Yeah. Probably leading more the humor than Fast and Furious did.
It's kind of like a slightly more kid-friendly Fast and Furious.
Yes. And that's the thing. This is like a family-friendly movie, and it's about John Cena's a spy, and he manages to get his friend group dragged along with him for the ride, and like
is John Cena the king of Comic-Con this year?
Yeah, I think so. He's showing up a lot. And basically, it's an action spy caper, and that's the gist of it. There's cars. Now, the Matchbox connection comes from, like, it's the thinnest of connections, where like, apparently John Cena and his friends played with Matchbox cars when they were kids, and then that constantly gets referenced. We see the opening of the trailer. I have
to ask you, Will, have you kept in touch with all the friends you played with Matchbox with?
Oh, absolutely. If I played Matchbox, we're friends for life. If we didn't, then, like, I forgot you exist. Sorry. The trailer opens with Jessica Biel talking to John Cena and saying, oh, you remember when we played Matchbox as kids? Or something like that. And then, like, throughout the movie, throughout the action sequences, they'll constantly reference it. Like, they had the one character, like, be like, oh, yeah, like, jump off the ramps like we did with our Matchbox cars. So it keeps, like, referencing that. And it's like, it's so desperate to stay relevant to the IP, to the toy line, even though, like...
But, like, almost comedically so.
Yeah. Even though there's no way they can realistically connect this to that. Because the only other way to do, like, a Matchbox movie would be to do, like, some sort of the same premise, only Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Have them shrunking down and having to drive actual Matchbox cars or some shit.
It's just funny to me because the Barbie movie was this very feminist movie that, like, approached the source material as both this kind of thing that might be harmful to, like, the feminist movement, but at the same time is undeniably important to girls growing up and the kind of role that they would take later in life. And so it was like this very very interesting dissection of the idea of, is Barbie harmful to like the way women are perceived, or is it actually like an important aspect of growing up female? It was like this whole thing. It was like just a very interesting thing. They got Greta Gerwig to make this movie, you know? And they went so smart with it. And then the takeaway that Mattel had was, everybody wants Mattel products. Anything we slap our name on is going to be like gangbusters. It's going to sell like, it's going to be like, everything we put our name on is going to make $1 billion, you know? Like that, that's kind of like the lesson they took from it, which is incorrect.
Every Mattel property is going to be $1 billion franchise, and we're learning that's not the case.
Yeah.
In real time.
Yeah. It's really funny. Like I said, this was parodied in the studio. The Seth Rogen TV series on Apple TV brilliantly parodied this with the whole Kool-Aid thing that we've mentioned earlier in the podcast. And here we have it again. This is just another example. The saving grace here is that this actually looks like it's going to be kind of funny.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
This looks inoffensive. This looks like it looks incredibly stupid. The way they're stretching the premise is incredibly stupid, but it looks stupid like in a fun way. Like this looks like it'll be a fun time to watch and just kind of shut your brain off and enjoy. Like we said, this is like Fast and the Furious for kids, and that's what that franchise is constantly referred to as, is something you just shut your brain off and enjoy. And I think that that's what this might end up being, hopefully. But yeah, it is just kind of funny how they're just trying to milk every IP that's in existence now.
Right. Oh yeah.
Oh god, they're gonna make like an easy bake oven like drama movie now.
Yeah, it's gotta happen.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it, you know? So that is Matchbox the movie, and that ends our Comic-Con coverage, our news coverage, and our show for this week. Next week, we are going to be talking about Batman Caped Crusader Season 2. This comes out, we record this on Wednesday. This literally comes out tomorrow from the time we're recording. Actually, it's already tomorrow where you are, because it just hit midnight. So that might be available right now, for all I know. Maybe not. Maybe it's midnight.
I think Amazon puts up their stuff at like 2 a.m.
Okay. So a little bit later, but still, it's coming very soon. It's a 10-episode season. They're half-hour episodes. We talked about Caped Crusader Season 1 on the podcast, and now we got Season 2. This is kind of like a spiritual successor to Batman the Animated Series. Some of the same people involved, Bruce Timm in particular. And Season 2's bringing in the Joker, who's played by Larry's from House of the Dragon.
Yeah.
Which is cool. So that's going to be our topic next week. We're going to be talking about the whole season, which drops tomorrow at the time when we're recording this. By the time you hear this, it'll already be out. So check that out on Amazon. But until next week, thank you everybody for listening. You can follow me on Blue Sky and Twitter. I'm at Tyson Gifford. You can follow Will on those platforms. He is at VoxelHero. You can check out our website, thetotalscreen.blogspot.com. If you go to our website and open up a container story for any of our podcast episodes and scroll down to the bottom paragraph, you'll find all the relevant links to our SoundCloud page, our RSS feed, all that stuff's there. You can also subscribe to this podcast to your favorite podcast client of choice like Apple Podcasts or Pocket Casts, and the entire backlog of the podcast, as well as additional content, is available on our YouTube channel, so you can check that out as well. Until next week, thank you everybody for listening. Good night.
Good
night. Thank you for listening to the OnScreen podcast, the official podcast of The Total Screen. Visit our website at thetotalscreen.com. This podcast can be found on any major podcast client, including Pocket Cast and Apple Podcast. The entire backlog of this podcast and other content can be found on our YouTube channel.